Hey cats, Ed Midsole Bud here, back with a running shoe yay or nay for you. Today it's an Adidas 3-stripe special. Thanks for tuning in, people. It's your boy Edmund Midsolski here. A very, very requested shoes special today. I've got about 5 shoes, in fact, from Adidas. It's a 3-stripe special. Running Shoe Yay or Nay is a show where I tell you whether I'm going to pick up specific new running shoe releases or not, giving you my reasons as to why I'll probably leave some of them on the shelves for some other shoe tubers to check out, or that there might be certain models that are simply shoe-ins for a review. You see what I did there? So many Adidas releases, it's almost unfathomable. Let's get into it. First shoe up today is the Adios 8. This dropped without any real fanfare over on the Adidas website. As you all know, if you've been watching the channel for a long time, I'm a big fan of the Adios series. I think I had the 3, 4, the 5, the 6 and the 7. So, you know, I've really got to pick up the 8, haven't I, to see how this new iteration shapes up. Very happy to see that the weight has gone down a little bit from the version 7. So I think we got about 208 grams this time for the sample size. I think that was 217 in the last version. So things going in the right direction, which is good considering like the Adios 4 was something like 238 grams or something in my size. I think that was right. I'll have to try and find it here somewhere. Any weight saving in a running shoe is good stuff, so that's a good step in the right direction. Adidas suggests there's a 1mm increase in the heel and 4-foot stack here in the new version of the shoe. Same drop as per usual, so that will appease the Adidas fans out there. There's more of the Light Strike Pro material though within the 4-foot area. In the last version, the standard Light Strike stuff stretched around the edges of the midsole and up into the 4-foot, but it appears as if Adidas have simplified the design here somewhat, and this is perhaps going to be a slightly more forgiving feel up front with that Light Strike Pro Elite style foam. Interestingly, the Light Strike here is supposedly a second version. I'm not sure what that means. Adidas haven't supplied any other information to suggest what that might be. Whether it's softer, it's denser, we don't know till we get it on foot. But it's the extra torsion rod within the middle area of the midsole and outsole that has taken me by surprise. It's a little bit like the 3 blades that you actually get in the undersection of the Prime X. Perhaps it could provide the Adios 8 with a little extra push on top. It does appear that the torsion system is now that bit thinner than the Adios 7, so it's all good changes by the looks of it. In terms of the upper, it doesn't half look like the Takumi Sen 8, almost like they grabbed that and reused certain sections of it. Probably another reason why Adidas are stating that this is the lightest Adios shoe yet. Definite yay for me for the Adios 8 from Adidas. Very excited for this shoe as it ticks a lot of boxes for me as a runner. There again, we've got a bit of a price increase there to £120 this time out. I can stomach that though, considering there are a load of seemingly positive changes here. Before we get to the next shoe, make sure you hit that subscribe button, but also give this video a thumbs up like. Really helps us out in terms of the algorithm to get the stuff out to more runners. Dankeschön. Shoe 2. This time it's the Boston 12. Again, this one is sort of launched without an awful lot of fanfare over at the Adidas site. I missed out on the Boston 11 as that was a very slight update on the 10, which wasn't really my favourite shoe, I have to say. 354 grams or something. It just felt a little bit tough and not really like it had much cushion. Did get better over time, but it wasn't one I persisted with. I just kind of left it in the box after a while. I think it was a better shoe actually than the Zoom Fly 5. I've moved that shoe on, it's just not really doing anything for me. It does appear that Adidas have shaved off some weight here in this new version of the Boston. Only 4 grams though, which makes this one still a quite heavy shoe, certainly if you're looking at the range of shoes available. They're reckoning on about 267 grams for the sample size, now with a lower drop of 6.5mm. Perhaps bringing the shoe more in line with the Adios Pro 3. Adidas quote that there's less heel stack here by a millimetre or 2, and as per the Adios 8 we've got Light Strike 2.0 rather than the standard stuff. Very keen to actually know what that means on foot. I think actually there's been a few versions of Light Strike over the years. I remember getting the SL20 back like, what, 3 or 4 years ago, and that was actually quite spongy really. Very different to the light strike we saw in the rim of the Boston 9, and definitely different to the light strike that we had in the Boston 10. We have a deeper cut of the Light Strike Pro foam this time in the mid forefoot, reaching a pinnacle under the ball of the foot. I'll be interested to see if the Light Strike Pro actually creeps up and around the heel again. It was pretty wafer thin in the heel, and you could really feel the plate that they placed there underfoot. Really didn't need the plate at all. The foam was firm enough, I think, without it there. And of course, in this version of the shoe, we have that almost... And of course, in this version of the shoe, we have the new energy rod implementation, as seen in the ADIOS Pro 3. It's like some sort of weird sculpt-like hair comb, or something out of a medieval torture chamber. A brand new mesh upper on this version of the shoe. I think it looks smashing in the black, white and lucid lemon colourway. That's one area that Adidas have really hit a home run here. Cracking launch colourway. Really, really nice. 140 big ones for this shoe, but so many people are requesting it that I think I've got to try and please the viewers in a way. So it's going to be a yay on the Boston 12. I seem to have an abundance though of 330 gram plus max cushion shoes at the moment, all aimed at mid to long distance slower running perhaps. How many more do I really need? I'm still not 100% convinced on this update to the Boston, but the viewers are absolutely desperate for it, so it's a yay. Okay guys, third shoe today. This time we have the ADIZERO RC5. Now, whenever I think of RC, I think of the lovable vehicle character from Toy Story. If they did a collab with Toy Story and Pixar for the RC5, I think that would be awesome. This is a low-weight, light strike only shoe from Adidas, I think aimed at racing and shorter distance bursts. But it's another Adidas shoe that's just light strike, which leads everybody to be really confused about the whole range really. 217 grams, it's comparable in looks and implementation to other older Adios models, though this time with only light strike and none of the other bells and whistles. We do though have a two-pronged torsion system similar to what we saw back in the Adios 6 or 7. So you could be thinking that Adidas are sort of repackaging and rebadging some older designs here, just merely moving them into a different category. It feels like a bit of a hand-me-down sort of nature. I mean, that's absolutely fine, but just how many light strike only shoes do we need? At 85 Earth credits, this one is only going to confuse people further who might be in two minds between the ADIZERO SL at £110. You've then got other further shoes that I'm going to talk about in a sec. The DURAMO SL and the DURAMO Speed. They seem to be more rodless, light strike only shoes. One even a copy of the Boston really, but with more padding. It reminds me a little bit of the whole Jordan Jumpman series, where they kind of get a release that's from the past, maybe pull a few elements together from different shoes, like key retro models, very specific parts, so the shoe looks like one of those other shoes, but it's just a facsimile. The RC5 in its sample size has a stack of 27mm in the heel and 17 in the forefoot, making for a 10mm drop, so pretty standard stuff. But it's probably a shoe that I really don't need right now. I've tried some lower stack light strike shoes in the past, they haven't really done anything for me. The ADIZERO SL was just really forgettable. I mean, it's fine for shorter range, but my knees ain't getting any younger. You may say to me,
Ed, I want a lower stack shoe that's about 85 quid.
Well, if that's the case, then go and pick yourself up a Takumi Sen 8 on discount. It'll be vastly lighter and probably a little bit more usable. You're definitely getting more value for your money. So it's a nay on the RC5 this time. Just not something that I need. Just a quick look at those DURAMO models as well. There's the Speed and also the SL. I don't think light strike on its own is enough to warrant having these two shoes. They're just too similar really. Does anybody really want a firmer again version of that Boston silhouette? The cushion that's on offer by this foam, it just doesn't really suit a maximal stack. I remember the SL 20.2, again that was just a really forgettable shoe. It just didn't really do anything for me. Wasn't really sure what you were supposed to use it for. It's like a daily shoe or somewhere towards a maximally cushioned model, because Light Strike on its own just doesn't really do that. So increasing the level of cushion there isn't always going to be a benefit to people. I guess if you want a very durable version of that silhouette with a similar drop, maybe you've got the Boston, you're going to save it back for doing racing or whatever, then you could pick one of these up. But in terms of weights and stuff, I just don't really see much difference between this and the other shoe. The Speed and the SL, very similar here. Perhaps the upper's a little bit more padded, a bit more plush, but yeah, it's going to be a nay for the DURAMO Speed and the DURAMO SL. I think picking the slightly higher tier models there, even though there's not a massive price difference between the two, is probably a better option this time round. Okay, that's all the shoes for the Adidas new release special. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on these down in the comments. A quick musical interlude for you. Bit of a random one today. I've been listening to That Thing You Do, the original motion picture soundtrack. I really love that film. It's kind of got this wonderful sort of naivety about it. Released back in the mid-90s. I think it was Tom Hanks' directing debut. There's some fantastic tracks on here in the mould of that sort of 60s power beat pop. Some really good songwriting and some really good performances as well. It really goes and energizes the actual on-screen imagery. Lots of different tracks recorded here by the artists as well that are part of the band's record label. So the band in question being the Wonders, not the Onidas. That Thing You Do is a fantastic tune. It's got all the hallmarks of kind of sticking in your head. Great guitars there as well, some really nice Rickenbacker guitar in that tune. And Dance With Me Tonight as well is a track I'd actually really like to do a cover version of. You know, playing some rock and roll shows, I think that one would go down really well. There's a character in the film called Frankie Fredrickson. He does a song called Mr. Downtown, which is really, really nice. Sort of croonery style Rat Pack tune. Really, really good stuff. You may never have heard of this film before, so go and check it out. That Thing You Do. Brilliant album as well, the original soundtrack. It is available on Apple Music, so go and take a listen. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. If you've yet to do so, hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications. Also give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you